Welcome pedalers to another pedal preservation video, and up in the stand we have a Viking road bike. Now you might be thinking, Rick, hey, you've already started taking it apart, but no, this is how I got the bike. Albeit that this bike was donated to the bike library and it was complete. Unfortunately, before it got restored, someone had the bright idea of robbing the rear wheel off to repair a customer's bike, which is not unusual. We often, if the customer doesn't have a lot of money and we're keeping the cost down, we will use good serviceable used parts to fix people's bikes. Unfortunately, the thing is, this bike was fully serviceable and now the rear wheel has now been lost and put on another bike, and then it found its way into the scrap pile. Of course, I can't see that happening, so I rescued it. Now I had a good rummage around and I did manage to find another wheel, albeit I'm not sure if it fits and it doesn't have a cassette. So let's get this bike back to the intended use it was meant for, before unfortunately it turned into a donor bike. Right, I think the bike is actually in really good order and it doesn't need a full tear down. I mean, why this bike ended up with parts being robbed off it, I have absolutely no idea. This is in remarkable condition. I did notice a couple of anomalies, things like the crank bolts had been slackened off, but the cranks hadn't been removed. So I don't know whether somebody was about to start parting this bike out and then changed their mind. There's definitely something weird going on about the front. I've got cables all wrapped around the front head as well, so I don't know what's happened to this. And there is actually some paint spilt on it, but I know I can get this off. But what I will do, I'm going to take the chain off and give it a damn good clean. Take the front wheel off, but I'm not going to go any further than that. Give the frame a good clean down, the components, sort out the back wheel, and then start putting stuff back on and kind of see where we go from there. So this is probably going to be more akin to what we do at the bike library, where we just do what's actually needed to make the bike serviceable. Let's do that. Okay, due to me not plugging in my microphone correctly into my camera, I will be doing most of the video in a voiceover. So you can see you can see here something's really wrong because the front brake cable is coiled around the headset. However, the shifter cables, etc. aren't. So I'm not entirely sure how we actually managed to arrive at this, but that is the way it is. And really, there's only one way of doing it. So what I'm actually doing here is I'm disconnecting the brake cable from the brake lever itself and then just rehooking it back in. To be honest, it's probably just really the best way to actually do it. Right, I'm going to now deal with this paint. There was green paint kind of just splattered all over the bike. Not sure why or when or what. But actually the best way, I use a little bit of GT85 and some kitchen foil. I find that it's aggressive enough to get the paint off, which will only be not that well bonded to the frame. I assume it was dirty when it went on. And it's not strong enough that it will actually damage the paint. So I used that because it was splattered all over the frame, so I just kind of went around the frame, spraying it with GT85, giving a bit of a rub with the foil, and then finishing off. Now the weird thing is the cranks, etc. were all, they weren't tight. They hadn't been removed from the frame, but the bolts were all slack, like somebody intended to strip it and then just changed their mind. I don't know why. So I'm obviously getting those all tightened back up. Chain actually in good condition, no problems there, so I'm just going to pop that off and then we can get that into the ultrasonic cleaner. Just may as well, I'll be getting a few other bits in there. I'm just giving the bike a clean down now. The frame on this is actually really nice, I have to say. This matte red finish, which I'm not a fan of matte finishes, especially on the B-twin bikes when they have the white matte finishes, they're impossible to clean, but this actually cleaned really well. I think Viking just seemed to have kind of gotten it on its nose. Right, what I'm doing, I don't really need to replace cables, and I'm not trying to replace the cable. What it is this front noodle has just got too much corrosion on it to take off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it off and replace it with a new one. For the cost of them and the whole bike looking so good, I don't think there's any point in trying to refurbish it because you'll never get it perfect, and a new one's. And I always think it's a bit of a thing that your eye goes to when you're looking at a bike, is you tend to, those noodles tend to stand out. So put new one on, cable's absolutely fine, and I'm just going to thread it all back on, put a nubbin thing on the end of it, and then we can get it hooked back up. What I probably should have done as well, but I didn't, I should probably have just taken the bolt off and actually buffed it on the wire brush. I probably had actually a mind to do that, and then I just didn't go back and do it. Well, we're on the front bakes, classic bike farmer style. We're just going to drop some lube into all the pivot points, all the adjusters, etc. And that's just going to seep back down into the pivot points, keep those brakes all working. Any excess oil will stop the bolts rusting, like what that bolt that holds the brake cable in has exactly done. There's another one worth doing. These levers, this adapter here, worth getting a little bit of oil on there, even just to actually coat it to stop it corroding, because they are attached to the brake arm, so you cannot get them off. You see, I just spot into the center of the screws as well, because that's where water collects up here. And you see, unfortunately, the bolt there, it's already kind of past its best. Again, I should have taken that off. Well, I do take it off, but it wasn't to do that. Once again, I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to put a new noodle, or whatever you guys call them, because I feel the noodle phrase is an American phrase for that part, but I don't know what else to call it. Down in the comments, if you've got an official, it might have some crazy official name that I've just never known. These noodles are actually not new, they're actually just really good used ones. That's why I'm dropping a bit of oil in there, because normally when you get them new, they actually have a little bit of grease in them, so you don't have to oil them. So I'm just dropping a little bit of oil in there, just to, they'll be dry. I didn't know where I got them from. They were in my box. I thought, oh, perfect. You know, it's not a new work. We're not doing like a service on a customer's bike, so I don't need to put new bits on. I'm now coming back in, and we're going to start lubing all the cables, etc. So I have, as you see, I've just popped it out the holder. You don't really have to do this. You could actually just pull the cable outer away and then just work it in. But I've actually taken it out, maybe just to work it in a little bit more. Just give that a wiggle. And then we can just feed it back into the slot. I can screw the adjuster around so the whole thing doesn't just fall back out again. I'm now coming in to do the same with the front derailleur. Just dribble that oil down the cable and then just work it in. You find where most of the lube needs to be is actually just at the ends, because you find the rest of the cable inside will be like corrosion and rust free, because the water usually doesn't seep in that far. Easy one, with the wheel off, we can pop the derailleur housing out, no problem at all. Worth getting some oil into the derailleur adjuster as well, because we will be using that later on, so it's important that it's going to be working freely. Just hook that back in there, just stop all the cables and all that just falling all over the place. And we see there, that's just working way better up and down. I'm just going to give the, because normally obviously I would have taken this off and got it in the ultrasonic cleaner to clean it, and we haven't done that because we're doing a quick service. So I'll have just given this a quick spritz of GT85, just coming in with a rag just to clean up, because the black, you see I'm doing it here as well, the black just comes up amazing when you just get a little bit of GT85 on there. And what I'll also do is any exposed screws, etc., I'll coat them and just give them a little bit of protection as well. Just wiping down the housings as well, because again, they can get sun bleached. Right, we're now on to the wheels. So remember, this is not the original wheel from the bike. The original wheel was missing, and we've had to source another one, which is like, well, maybe close enough is good enough. There's a little bit of play in this, so where I probably wouldn't have bothered, we're going to get that done. So as always, I just back the cone off, squeeze some grease in there. The hubs were actually fine anyway, so this is, I call this a courtesy grease, so that you're just adding to what's already there, or you're wakening up if the grease is like dried off, etc. And then we can just screw those hubs back together. That just makes sure it all works back in. Just going to flip it over. Now obviously access isn't as good on this side, so you really have to unscrew that cone out to get in there. But once again, squidge of grease in there, and then we can screw all the things back up again. Just spin it back round, and now what we can do is we can get the spacer on, get the nut on, get all that tightened back up, adjusted if necessary, and then we're going to be ready to deal with the cassette. Because when I got this wheel, of course, it didn't have a cassette or a tyre. Tyre, not a problem. I have spares, but cassette, kind of a problem. So this is one I had lying around, and well, you'll see later in the video, this is actually going to come back and bite me and give me some issues. But it's in good condition, but there are problems, as you will soon see. So I always go anti-clockwise with the nut, the cassette nut, just to set it into its threads, and then go right. And always just make sure that your cassette gears are not misaligned, because sometimes it's like they go on but they don't go on properly, and then you tighten the nut up but everything's at a bit of a wiggle. As you now start to see, here's where the problem is I've got it all tightened up but everything was still loose. So what I've done is I've come back and I've put a spacer at the back of the cassette. So possibly this wheel was an 8-speed. I thought we would have gotten away with it, but it definitely needed the spacer. So I've had to put it, just pulls the cassette forward, and then I can, you know, put the you know what you call those, that driver nut back on. Make sure all the gears are all sat properly and not wiggling around. That's what I'm checking here. And then we can tighten up properly. And then of course, finally, just firing in a skewer. Right, it's time for tyres. I had a spare tyre, fortunately, that was the same size and very similar tread. The only difference is the front tyre didn't have that sort of reflector white wall on it, where the back one does now. You know what, it's not something you really notice. But we can get the front wheel on, we can get all that positioned, etc. And we can get ready for the final brake adjustments, etc. Right, up into the house, up into the hanger, etc. And get the back wheel in, get it, make sure it's seated properly. It's worth dropping the bike on the ground. If you have quick releases, drop the bike on the ground, slacken all the quick releases off, then tighten them up, and your wheels will sit perfectly into the dropouts. So we've got the chain on, same one. It didn't have a split link, so I've done it the old-fashioned way, pushing the pin back in. And now we can actually just start running up and down the gears, making sure everything is changing properly. Now, you're not probably overly noticing it, but when, and this took me a while to figure out, but when I was turning the cranks on the bottom gear, the chain in the smallest cog was jumping, like as if it was out of alignment. But I can assure you, I actually posted this up on YouTube Reels to get people's feedback, and everyone was saying, oh, it's your A screw, it's your B screw, da 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 da. I can assure you it wasn't. It was jumping like a banshee, and honestly, I couldn't figure out why. It looked like that bottom sprocket was worn. Only that bottom one was worn, and that is what was causing it to jump out. But I kind of persevered quite a bit because I haven't actually posted the video up, because lots of people were saying that. Of course, some people were right and just saying, look, the cassette's worn, you just need to replace it. Unfortunately, I didn't have another spare 7-speed cassette. I had 7-speed freewheels, but I didn't have any 7-speed cassettes. But I did persevere. I covered all the bases of what everyone later on suggested, to make sure that that was not the problem, but it wasn't. Well, there we go. Another bike saved. Restoration, rebuild, service, whatever you want to call it. What we did, relatively minimal, and it's taken a bike that was scrap pile. Not even the parts were getting robbed off it. I've pulled it out. I found another back wheel because the original one got robbed. And this is actually a great commuter bike because it's got decent tires on it. It's got working front forks on it. Frame is aluminium. This is the exact demographic of our customer at the Bike Library. Somebody wanting to basically smash along the roads, not literally, and cycle into work. And that's exactly what we've achieved. And this bike will go back down to the library tomorrow. I'm going to ride it down. And this will be put out for a very affordable price, probably like less than £100, and someone's got as good a brand new bike. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, liking, subscribing, watching to the end is all great, and it's free. You can also, if you want to pump in a bit more, we've got our super thanks. That's a heart shape with a $sign in it down below. You can bung me a few quid. All goes back into the channel. No one's making money out of this. These videos cost me more than what the ad revenue costs. If you want to help out there, fire away. But if you want something in return, down below you'll got links to my sticker shop. You can buy the stickers, make them myself, ship them myself. So all proceeds from the stickers go right back into the channel. Well, until the next video, I will see you then. Bye.